My name is Quentin. I am Houston born and raised. I am a digital archivist at MD Anderson, weekend librarian at UHD, and also a fine artist. So, the cliche would be like, oh yeah, I've always been an artist, since like a kid. Drawing like Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z shit, right? But I would say I didn't really feel like I was an artist until about like 2006, 2007, high school.
Right.
So, yeah, because that was the first time I actually like did a concisive piece, like a still life and stuff like that. It's kind of a long story, but yeah, but that's so essentially, yeah. So as mentioned, I got my bachelor's degree in fine arts, concentration studio art, and so I got that here at UHD. And so I was working for the science department, didn't like it, and then the administrative assistant there, Lois Smith, as a piece, she moved from there to the library. She told me like, hey, like we open it up if you want to come in and work as student worker. I was like, okay, sure. Like I took a pay cut, but I was tired of working like STEM. Like I was tired of it.
Right.
So I worked in the library and, as a student worker. And then sure enough, what happened with that one is that I found out that if you got a master's in library science, is a possibility that you could do curation, like you could do art curation.
Oh, good.
And so, I was getting my degree in like studio art, but then also I was thinking more or less just like, like maybe I should also have something in my back pocket to where it's just like, you have dry spells as an artist where you don't sell anything.
Right.
And so maybe if like I get a job working in like the behind the curtain, I can still be a part of the arts, but still have like a steady paycheck coming in.
Right.
And so, yes, I was started student worker here, I think 2012. And there was a couple librarians there. Giovanni Loida, she was a Black librarian, so she's the one that talked to me about like getting into it. And so I was like, all right, cool. So when I graduated my degree, took a year off, and then decided to go for my master's in library science. So and originally it was just like, okay, I could do this in art. I could be a curator. But then beforehand, like I had a close relationship with the archivist here, Melissa Torres, and so I was hanging with her. She showed me a couple things, and I really liked the solitude, like the kind of the you can work by yourself doing it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh yeah, that's fucking, that's cool. And then also I used to volunteer at the Gerby School in their archives as well.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, before I even started my program. And so just to get like a little experience from there. And then when I started my degree, I made sure to concentrate in archival studies and digital imaging. And so, yeah, it was just kind of all those influences for us. It's like, all right, cool. So I get into that one, get to archives, worked as a librarian here. And when the position at the Manil opened up, I went for it.
Okay.
And funny, actually, that position was more or less just like, because I interned there for my practicum. So I knew the previous archivist, Lily Carroll, and then also the archives manager, Lisa Barkley. And so when the position opened up, my friend, who was the head of the library and archives at the time, Lauren Gottlieb Miller, she reached out to me and she was like, hey, like it's been opened up. Do you want to apply for it? I was like, yeah. So dream come true, like working for the Manil.
Right.
And yeah, so it kind of went from like, okay, like, yeah, I'll do it as far as like a curator. And then it's like, no, I'm really about the archives and, library and then about the archives. And then it's like, it just kind of stuck. And now I'm at MD Anderson. So, but it's different. I don't really have much hands-on action with the collection.
Okay.
So I do go in, pick stuff every once in a while, but a lot of stuff that we do is more or less just like, and it would be me going in, getting documents, getting images, digitizing it, and making it available for people to view.
Right.
So right now what we're doing is we're trying to make the documents, the photos accessible to people. So that way when they request it, we just send it all over. So a lot of photos of the history of MD Anderson, so like the building of like the construction of the buildings, influential people as far as that one. And since I have an art background, the archivist there, he wanted me to handle the children's art project. So one project I've been doing is going in and cataloging that work. And so it's really interesting because me doing the descriptions of the work, putting the artist's name, which is the child's name, and then like the dates and stuff like that, and just so the descriptions be like lollipop, multicolored lollipop, unicorn and Elsa, and then we also have a couple other paintings that I've been responsible for like handling and taking photos of as well. And so I think that's one of the reasons they got me in, because of that background. So it's interesting. Even though I'm working in medical, I still deal with art. And then also, tentatively, we're hoping to get another art collection that's on the campus as well. So. Portraiture, like I do a lot of portraiture, and then abstraction. Like, I don't know. Like my goal is always, I'm just a nigga who draw and paint. Like that's pretty much the base of it. But if I was to describe it, it's more or less just like I want to capture like moments. I want to capture moments and more or less like that reflect like joy and whimsy and shit like that. Especially like being influenced by like Southern upbringing, comics, hip hop, all this other shit, and then also like being a black artist is another thing too, because I feel like a lot of it, like a lot of people when they create black art, it is in conversation with black art, but then I feel like a lot of it is based on whiteness as well, if that makes sense. Where it's just like there's a lot of pain and turmoil in it. It's like we're not just people with pain and turmoil, like we are living, breathing people with like our own like experiences and shit. So it's just like, no, fuck that. Like I just want to create art that reflects that experience, like what it is.